Hello, I'm Darren Crapo, and welcome to the Thursday edition of UFO Planet. On tonight's program, I have an excellent clip that you're all going to love. It's the clip when a UFO finally meets a Chinese lantern. All of that and a lot more is going to get started in about 30 seconds, but first, take a look at some of the clips that you're going to see on tonight's program. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in on this beautiful, fine Thursday. I hope that you've all had a spectacular week. I know I did. I've had a lot of people asking lately if I would dress up in the rest of my Men in Black uniform and wear my black shades to the show today, so I hope you all recognized me here. I know I'm pretty much incognito when I have them on. Unfortunately, I'm also kind of useless in the studio because I can't see the controls across the room. So enough with the Man in Black uniform. We're just going to have to stick with the black suit, and that's all. Well, thanks again, and I appreciate everyone tuning in. We're going to go all over the world today and look at some videos that have come into the program. First, we're going to take a look at a clip that was sent to us from Heather Ruff. Heather Ruff is one of our viewers from Washington State and also one of the very first guests on the program. This is a fascinating clip in that it's a UFO that's high in the sky, and I'm just going to get it started here. Now, I didn't notice until I actually came down to the studio that there's two UFOs in this video, and I had to go upstairs and re-edit it and bring it back down. So now I'm going to show you the second UFO. It went zipping by there. See it going by there in multiple replays? Pointed out with some arrows here. Unfortunately, we don't know the location of this video, but we do know it was published online July 30th, 2010. Very interesting. Now here's the actual clip that I edited initially, thinking that this is the only object we were looking at. And then I noticed that second object going by. Very interesting object. I don't know what to make of that. And there's the original video. Watch the second one here. There she goes, just whipping by. Now, initially, I thought maybe we were looking at a bird or a bug or something like that, but it appears as though that object actually goes over top of the television antenna, which makes it a little bit more difficult to actually specify what it is. You know, if it was a bug, I don't think it would be that large on the other side of that antenna, if you know what I mean. Next, we're going to look at one of my favorite videos tonight, and this is of a Chinese lantern. But this is just no ordinary Chinese lantern. In this video clip, you're going to see a UFO that appears as though it comes up to the Chinese lantern, takes a look at it, and then zooms off. I'll just get that clip playing here now. It also shows some great shots of a Chinese lantern, so we know exactly what the characteristics are when it zoomed out and when it zoomed in. They're actually kind of beautiful, aren't they? This was recorded in Cleveland, Ohio on July 5th. Very beautiful. I can see why people like them. Actually, it kind of intrigues me to send one off, but I'm just not willing to pay that kind of money to send something up into the sky that's going to burn up. Now, when we're zooming in here again, I'm going to point out with an arrow where you're going to want to look to see where there's an object that appears to come up to this Chinese lantern. So you see it there. It's hard to look at, hard to see. So we're going to have to slow that down a little bit. So in the slow motion replay, you can see the object that's there on your screen where the arrow is. But I'm going to put a caveat on here. It appears as though that object all of a sudden zooms off, when in fact what it might be is the camera that zooms in, which gives the, I guess, the optical illusion that it's the other object that's moving. So quite probably that other object is flying in close proximity or is stationary? What do you think? Chinese lantern over Cleveland, Ohio. I think a lot of UFO sightings can be attributed to the creation of Chinese lanterns. A lot of them can be attributed to drones. There are drones flying everywhere in a lot of countries now, including Canada. I've actually seen them over my own area here. So what do you make of that? Chinese lantern. Very interesting to see that, and very interesting to see a Chinese lantern and a UFO together at last. So now let's move on to a UFO that was recorded over Denver. Now, Denver seems to be a hotbed for UFO sightings. We've all heard about the famous Denver UFO sighting that included many, many people that were of, good people that could vouch for what they saw. Unfortunately, the governor kind of went on television and made a fool of everyone, and then later recanted, which made a fool of himself. So now we're going to look at this video clip from 2010 of objects, strange lights over Denver, Colorado. For all appearances, it looks like there's more than one object up in the sky. It also gives the appearance that these lights are independent. See the lights on the bottom that are kind of moving around? Now, is that the craft changing its trajectory, or are those lights actually moving? That's a difficult one to call. This particular clip, I said before, was shot on July 30th, 2010. Now take a look at how they seem to form into three separate crafts and then fly over the city. I thought that was amazing. Now, if this is a faked video, it's very well done. And there are some fakes out there that are pretty hard to detect. Very interesting. Denver, Colorado, in the United States of America. I'd really like to know what you think of that. Last week, I asked each of you to share a name that you think that we should name our alien creature and or alien being. I don't want to call her a creature because maybe she's the nicest person in the whole world. You never know. Any case, a lot of you made some excellent suggestions, and you also made some excellent comments, and we're going to look at both right now. Andrew Payne, you totally cracked me up this week with your comment about why are alien creatures always naked. I've thought the same thing 100 times before, I have to admit it. And it's probably, actually, I had a discussion this week with someone who said, someone's going to want you to put clothes on that thing. And that's easier said than done. I tell you that for sure. But I thought it was pretty hilarious. Andrew, well said. I also wanted to just make a comment about the names that are being suggested, and three names in particular. It just really caught me off guard. One was DC, which is my initials, Darren Crapo. But that's also what a lot of my friends call me. So I thought that was rather interesting. Oddly enough, you also suggested two of my children's names and my twin brother's name. My twin and my oldest son, my only son, is named Paul, and that was made as a suggestion for the name of the being, which is strange. and Ashley, which is the name of my youngest daughter. So you kind of covered my whole family there. You just missed one daughter and my grandchildren. Anyway, if you still have a suggestion, feel free to post it on anywhere, on YouTube, send me an email, whatever you like. And by the next episode, I'm going to whittle that down to, probably between 5 and 10 suggestions. And then I'll post it on the site in a format where you can go and vote for what you think we should name the alien. Again, thanks for participating in that. And thanks for participating in the program by posting comments on YouTube and on our website. So let's get moving along here. We're going to go to Jerusalem now, and this video is guaranteed to make you hungry. You're going to wonder what I'm thinking about when I say that, but let's check this out. It was a clip that was shot over Jerusalem on July 6, 2013. So we have an object up there in the sky, shot kind of around the corner of a building. First question that came to my mind is, why wouldn't you walk around the building so you can get a complete clear shot of it? But hey, each to their own, right? July 6, 2013, who knows? When I first edited this video, it came clear into my mind what it looked like, what I thought it looked like, and that's what it is, an Oreo cookie. That's what I think it looks like. I'm not saying that's what it is. I just thought it was kind of comical because it kind of does have that appearance to it. Looks like a fairly large object. And no, that cookie is not a UFO, it's just a great cookie. So I'm curious to know, by a show of hands, how many of you just got hungry watching that Oreo cookie? And how many of you are contemplating going to the cupboard right now to see if you have any Oreos in there? Hang on, we still have more videos to go yet. Next, we're going to go to Scarborough, Ontario. And this is a video and photo combination that was taken of the same object by Paul Sheeses over his workplace in Scarborough. Paul has participated in the program before, sending us video clips, and this, just like his last one, is rather interesting to look at. We'll get her going here now. Initially, we're going to look at the video portion here, the raw video. I point out where the object is, and you can kind of see a flash of light where it is as well. Paul says he captures a lot of these objects, videos of a lot of these objects up above his workplace, and has actually pointed them out to several co-workers. This is one of the digital snapshots that we're looking at here. And take a look at that. It definitely has a ball shape to it, doesn't it? Now we're back to the video. And I zoom in here so you can see where it is in the sky and kind of see it glistening off, the sun glistening off of it or something like that. Hard really to say. Paul captured this on July 14, 2005, so it's a few years old, but he continues to see these objects. So I think that's very fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing that, Paul. I appreciate it when viewers send in their work. Now we're going to take a trip to Columbus, Ohio. This is a fascinating video. It's actually my favorite on the program today. What we have here, by the sounds of it, are some young girls, teenagers, that are out looking at the sky. They happen to see a UFO up in the sky, and they have a rather comical discussion while they film it. So let's move on to Columbus, Ohio.
No, what did he drop?
Is it?
I think he dropped something.
That went out and then came back.
Come
And
on.
then there were only 3, and now there's 4.
No, look, they're going weird angles.
So slow.
They're going back and forth.
What are they?
Guys, it was nice knowing you.
What is going on? Guys, what is that? Look at it. There's red dots where they used to be.
Yeah.
Look. No, there wasn't 4. There was only 2. And now there's 3. Now there's 4. I'm kind of scared, guys.
Why are they stopping? They're people like floating around. Like
No.
jetpacks, I think.
No.
Yeah.
No, what are you talking about?
It has to be.
Seriously, what is it? Now there's 3 again.
Because they, like, when they take their jetpacks, when they stop.
It's not a
using them-
jetpack. Look how much fire is coming out of that. Are you seriously think it's a jetpack? It's
Of course
big.
it's birded.
Yeah, it's jet fuel.
So you actually think that's a jetpack, do you? I thought that comment was hilarious. Shot on July 6, 2013 in Columbus. Very excellent video. That was shot with a cell phone, folks, so that was an excellent job of videotaping, and it's really interesting to hear a conversation going on in the background when you're looking at something. It just makes it so much more enjoyable and entertaining. So now we're going to move to Mexico. Just by way of explanation before I move on to this, this is two snapshots that were taken down at the Mayan ruins in Mexico, and there were a number of photographs that were taken by a tourist all on the same day back in 2005. Just recently, the same tourist started to go through those same photos and discovered that just about every single snapshot has an unidentified object or unidentified objects in it. Very interesting. Let's get this going from the Mayan ruins. We'll take a look at the first photograph, which I found the most fascinating because there's two objects in it. Now on the left-hand side, we have that ball. It looks a lot like what Paul just showed us in his video, but on the right side, take a look at that. Very weird looking object. Kind of looks like a bug, kind of looks like Superman with his cape on without a head. Very interesting. Now we're going to go to the second photograph. As I mentioned before, there were several supplied here, but these were kind of two of the best. And we see that there's an object up in the sky here as well. Take a look at that. Hard to say what that is. Is that a craft, a bird, a bug? Something on the lens? Tulum, Mexico, where the Mayan ruins are. I'm sure there will be a lot of viewers out there have some suggestions as to what we're looking at there, and I sincerely appreciate when you share those suggestions with us. It makes it a lot easier for the rest of us to understand what we're looking at as well. Now we're going to take a look at a UFO clip that was shot close to dark, but I've done some enhancements to it so we can see what's up in the sky. It's very interesting looking, to say the least. We'll get this clip going here now. So here's a part that is original before any enhancements are made. You can see that object up in the sky there, but it's very dark. So let's throw some filters around this and see if we can't see it just a little bit better here. There we go. Initially, when I looked at this video, I thought, boy, that looks a lot like a bunch of balloons or even potentially a kite. It also could potentially be a craft of some sort. In any case, it is an unidentified flying object captured somewhere in the United States on January 7th of this year. In the still photos here, it doesn't really help us distinguish what we're looking at. Kind of gives a little bit of shape to it, but then when we look at it back in the video, the shape seems to be different, so it's hard to say. This is the spot where I thought it looked a lot like a kite. That there is the peak of a house, not a pyramid as though it might appear in the video here. In the enhanced there, you can see it moving across the sky a little bit more clearly. Very interesting, to say the least. Black UFO may be alive. That's what the videographer titled his video. Very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. Next, we're going to take a look at another snapshot, and this snapshot was shot at the Leeds and Bradford Airport just outside of Leeds, England in the United Kingdom. And the viewer that sent it to me said that they took the photo initially and didn't really see the UFO in it until they looked at it later on when they were at home. So let's start this clip up. And do a little zooming in here to the object. As I mentioned before, this object was not noticed when it was snapped. It wasn't until later. This was shot recently on June 19, 2013 by Pamela Bull in Leeds, United Kingdom. kind of see a couple of different shots of it side by side there with the original photo above. I'm always fascinated by photographs. They seem to be a lot easier to analyze than a video because the videos tend to be so jiggly. Very interesting. Thanks for sending that to us, Pamela. And Pamela was asking what she's looking at. So if anyone has any suggestions or any ideas what Pamela's looking at, be sure to make those in the comment section. We're going to go to our final clip today, and our final clip today takes us to the country of China. This is a very interesting video as well. Again, I edited the video only to discover that there's more in the video than the actual UFO that I was supposed to be focusing on. We'll get this clip going and I'll explain that a little bit more. So here we go. We have this UFO, classic UFO video. Looks like it's fairly old. I don't know if it's been shot on film or on videotape, but it certainly has that old film look to it, doesn't it? I'm always skeptical of just about anything that comes out of China, including Rolex watches. Published on July 2nd, 2013. Now, you'll notice throughout the course of this video, you've been seeing other spots that appear on the screen. And at one point, there's kind of a couple of objects that go by the camera that give an appearance as though there's some sort of an object and not just something on the film. See that one there? Now, it moves fast. You may have to rewind that to look again. And I'm going to slow it down here, and I'm going to show you 3 more that appear. Now, are those bugs? They tend to look like they're flying in a straight line, a couple of them. So I really don't know what to think of that. And I don't think that's exactly what the video was about, but it certainly adds to the flavor, doesn't it? Very interesting. Unfortunately, a lot of the videos that come out of China are faked, and they're just, well, they're not real. And so it's unfortunate. One of these days, there's actually going to be a real UFO video, and no one's going to believe it because we're so used to seeing all this blurry stuff. Anyway, that's the last clip I have today. I want to say thank you to everyone for watching the program, and I just wanted to add an added thanks at the end of the program here for the many of you who are sharing it out on your Facebook walls so more people can tune in and watch the program as well. Appreciate that very much. It's very kind of you. Again, we'll be back on Monday, I guess, next week. And until then, I'm Darren Crapo. This is UFO Planet, and have yourselves a safe and happy weekend.